so that we can continue the dialogue, but bring in a new wrinkle.
Thank you.
Okay, AARP's #1 priority in New Hampshire is home and community-based care. Right now, New Hampshire spends 80% of its Medicaid long-term care budget on institutional care and services, and nearly 20% on less expensive home and community-based services. I trust you are both aware of the New Hampshire citizens' overwhelming preference for home and community-based services. Would you support changing federal laws so that the ability to access home and community-based services is equal to the ability to access institutional care?
Well, I think certainly the best thing we can do is to allow people to stay in their homes as long as they can with their family and their friends, and I would definitely support changes that would allow the flexibility to spend funds in a way that makes sense for people here in New Hampshire. And really, when it comes to those decisions, I think that they're best made at the state and local level, and certainly would support that. And I just also wanted to add, when it comes to the $500 billion cut to Medicare under this health care bill, that's why we're seeing Medicare Advantage dropped. And that's why many of our seniors whom I've met on the campaign trail are very concerned, because they've already gotten notice that those plans will be dropped, and they'll have to make different arrangements for their health care plans.
Thank you. Mr. Hodes?
Chuck, the answer is yes. It's really important. You know, as many of us help take care of our aging parents, and we see folks who are staying at home to take care of their parents, and they're losing productivity at work because of the problem. We know that we've got to provide incentives both in Medicaid to fix the disequilibrium there, and other incentives to make sure that folks who want to stay at home can stay at home. It's really important. It makes sense economically, and it's simply the right thing to do. So I would support those efforts. Now, what I've just heard from Ms. Ayotte is apparently she doesn't really want to do anything in Medicaid, because what I hear from her is, along with everything else, Medicare, Social Security, she wants to cut 20% out of Medicaid, because that's the way to starve the beast, according to her. But I don't think we're going to need to cut 20% out of Medicaid. I do think that there is a very important role to play in the right kinds of incentives to provide the right kind of care, and that includes helping people stay at home.
You know, first of all, Congressman Hode's claims about me are just false. And really what it comes down to is what I've said is that we need to get our country on a fiscally responsible path. So I would ask every agency within our federal government to propose what it would look like if we reduced the size of our government 20%. And that doesn't mean cutting Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid for the fundamental safety net of the people that need it most. But we do need to look at this government and have the honest discussion with open hearings so that we can get our budget on a more fiscally responsible path. And that's what I would do in the United States Senate, because we can't afford where we're at with $13 trillion of debt in this country. And we're passing this on to the next generation if we don't make some of the decisions right now to get our budget balanced.